Creepy, empty neighborhoods, towns, and cities experiences. After listening to YouTubers narrate posts about empty and/or sus neighborhoods in towns/cities, I am in the mood to hear true encounters, be they yours or others, and even just theories on what is causing this is welcome. I am talking stuff like noticing that your suburban neighborhood seems suspiciously lacking people and just being empty houses. Towns with really off energy in an X-like manner, like it is a fake town, like in Harvester, and cities that seem to be empty when they should not be, as if it is nothing but a movie set. So, do you anons have any empty or creepy neighborhood, town, city incidents that you would like to share? Thanks in advance as always. It's a phenomenon that's increasing in prominence, but the government put a serious effort to mitigate it, mostly close to urban centers. I think it's the government anyway. Whoever or whatever they are only delaying the problem at most. They are involved in some way. We don't really know what these fake towns are precisely. Some speculate it to be experiments gone bad, awry. Others think these places act as intersections between realities, and a few think it's aliens or demons. We don't really know. Could be all or none of these things. What matters is that this is only going to expand more and more. There will probably be a huge effort to relocate most people towards the urban centers. Expect megacities, like the kind in Judge Dredd, to be seriously considered in the public discourse. This one took place around November 2021. Be me, 19 at the time. Got my trusty Civic for that first year back in July. Family decides to do a road trip to visit some extended family out in the Northeast for the holidays, Utah. Just quit my job and had a bunch of cash saved. Offer to convoy with them up so I can enjoy driving by myself rather than staying home and wage cook. Plan is simple. Leave before sunrise. Pull off at rest area at night to sleep. Continue convoy by morning. Actually use GPS this time. Somewhere in the middle of Arkansas/Oklahoma. I'm out of gas. Gotta stop to refuel. Dad texts me location of rest stop to head towards. They are long gone by the time I finish fueling. Fuck it. I'm only 45 miles away from the rest stop. Decide to fuck around for an hour or two in this bum-end town. Check GPS to see where I am. Gilbert, Arkansas. The smallest town in the state. Spend maybe 15 minutes driving around and snapping photographs of the Americana architecture before I dip. Leave Gilbert and spend the next 30 minutes in the middle of Nowheresville. Traffic is decent and it is still midday, around 1 p.m. See billboard for a flea market that is on the next exit. Shit. Decide to detour further because I don't really need much sleep for tonight. Turn off on the exit I need to. Spend about 5 minutes before I find the town. No town name sign. That's odd. Town looks like a Norman Rockwell painting came alive. Not a single soul to be seen. What? There is cars parked by sidewalks, and produce in the shop windows. I am the only car on the road. I think I'm the only human on the road. I think I'm the only human in town. Twilight Zone theme. Town is as small as shit. 15 buildings maximum. No sign of flea market. Confused as shit. Decide to say fuck it and turn around. There is a 4-way street where I can U-turn with only nary a curb clipping. As soon as I complete my U-turn, I see red and blue lights. Oh, fuck. I pull over and wait for my ticket. The cop car behind me is parked about 20 feet away from my car. Wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Nobody's left the car. Against all logical judgment, I get out and put my hands up, walking closer to the cop car. Notice several odd things. 1. It's not a standard issue police vehicle. It should have been a Ford Crown Victoria. It was a Mustang with a blotchy spray paint job. 2. There was no name on the sides of the doors. Usually they say, police, insert county name, county. This one was just police in Arial black. Looked like a dollar store toy. 3. The windows were so tinted, you physically could not see who was in the car. near Vanta black levels of tinting. This has to be a cop impersonator. I'm in danger. Run back to car and lead-foot it out of there. Fake cop immediately starts chasing me. It hits my bumper a few times, trying to knock me off the road. Speed racer fame. I just keep going straight, in hopes an actual cop sees me and the faker. I make it to where I can turn back onto the interstate. Fake cop car slams its brakes. It's revving like crazy, but won't move at all. As I start to drive onto the ramp, it kills its lights and starts driving in reverse back to where it came. Finally make it to the rest stop after my outer limits and Dukes of Hazzard crossover extravaganza. Decide not to tell parents at all what happened. I did not want the lecture. Clinton, Oklahoma is a fucking creepy ass town. You wouldn't think so, since it's right off a well-traveled interstate. But when I got off the interstate to fill up with gas, the doors were one of those glass sliding ones, where the cashier had to beep you in for it to open. You feel trapped once you get inside the store. While trying to find a McDonald's, I drove through a bit of the town, and there are rundown homes everywhere, and you can tell there used to be a Pizza Hut and other national chains that are now converted into Mexican restaurants. Also saw a Freemasonry lodge that looked eerie and creepy. My advice: get gas before you hit Clinton, so you can drive right on past it. I have a vague memory from childhood that stuck with me. On vacation on small Greek island. Drive with parents in rental car to go sightseeing. Dad gets lost while driving. Drive for literally half an hour before getting onto a road that looks like it's eventually ending up in a small, secluded neighborhood. Weird. It's all luxury homes, but it's just the frame and walls. No contractors at work. Nothing. Just an unfinished ghost town. Dad kind of freaks out over being lost. Proceed to backtrack. Look out rear window and see a white pickup following us. We find a T intersection and go back to where we came from. Pickup just does a U-turn and goes back to creepy neighborhood. Can't remember ever talking about it again. Be me and my buddy, driving to Dallas. Drive for hours and hours. It's pitch black. Finally see a gas station. Weird. It seems to be the only building out here. Get out. Go piss. Buy drinks and snacks. Get back in the car. Buddy is driving and is fucking around with his phone to try and connect it to Bluetooth again. While he's doing this, I see movement. What the fuck? Dude, there's people out there. It's a gas station. Of course there's. I reach over and hit his lights. Car illuminates like 20 to 30 people surrounding the car. Homie Tokyo drifts his Chrysler 300 out of that bitch. We may or may not have booped a person with the car. Be me, summer of 22. Night drive alone through Kentucky woods. Done this 1,000 times because loner. No work tomorrow, so decide to take a new route. GPS will save me if I get lost. Drive for about an hour southwest of my town on back roads. Never see a single car other than my own. Not weird, because 2 a.m. on a Tuesday in backwoods KY. Think nothing of it. See sign for a town coming up. Woodsap. Never heard of it, but I've also never driven this way. Kinda hungry, so I will check it out since I am driving through. Make a left turn past an old cemetery and head that way. Drive for like 10 minutes with nothing but trees on both sides of the road. Where is this place? Turn down music because that's what you do when you're trying to think for some reason. Slow down a bit to pull out my phone and look at the map. See the sun in the distance and put the phone away. Further away than expected, but okay. Woodsap, Kentucky, established 1799. Yep, this is the place. Keep driving and taking this new town in. See old 90s style Taco Bell. Closed of course, since it's late as fuck, but still cool to see. See an old school Pizza Hut and McDonald's. Now I'm impressed because this town looks like it was frozen in time. Get nostalgic because autism. I should move here. Town is completely deserted. Used to bigger towns and cities, so this doesn't shock me for a small town. Spot gas station. Only place with lights on in the town. Snack time. Place looks like everything else in town. Frozen in the 90s. Pull up to pump because I like a quick getaway and don't want to back out of a space. Cut the car music and step out. It's quiet as fuck apart from the hum of the lights at the gas station. Be X-File, so I know that something is not right. Take a second to just look around and this place is dead. No other cars, no wind blowing, nothing. Wow, this is happening. Walk up to the gas station and open the doors. Surprisingly not locked. Walk in. I love the way you love me playing on the speakers. Glance at the counter. Nobody there. Fully aware that some X shit is going on now. Start to look at the smaller details. Marlboro cigarettes, $1.75. Old Doritos bag. Old Mountain Dew bottles. Spot magazine rack. TV guide. Yeah, okay. Press E to interact. July 16th to 22nd on the cover. Flip open. 1994. Put it back on the rack. Oh shit. Walk up to the counter. Lean over and look behind it. Nobody. Fuck it. Go to the fridges and grab a couple of old-ass Mountain Dews. Looks brand new. Idea. Look down the aisles. Snack wells. Haven't had these in years. Grab a box. Leave a $5 bill on the counter. They can keep the change. Walk out to my car. Heart is beating out of my chest for obvious reasons. Sit on the trunk and start snacking and taking everything in. Check phone. Still works in general, but no service and no internet. Chill there for hours, waiting for something else to happen. Driving around and looking at everything like I'm in some sort of museum. Do this until about 6:30 a.m. Sun still is not up. Nobody outside. No lights on in any of the businesses or houses. Nobody on the road. Drive really slow and take it all in for the last time because I've read enough creepypasta to know this won't be here the next time I come back. Put the town in my rearview. Make the right turn back onto the road by the cemetery. When I come out from the canopy of trees, the sun is up. Drive home. Check maps. No such place as Woodsup, Kentucky. Nothing but woods where I was. Maybe I should have been freaked out like a lot of people would have been, but I just was not at all. I was thankful to go back for a night. Something in me knew that I'd just be able to stroll out as easily as I came in. Or maybe I just did not care if I were doomed to stay. You can go back in time, but no one is there anymore. Be in Cairo, Egypt, December of last year, at City Stores Mall. Biggest mall in Cairo. Basically like the exact same thing as a mall would be in the West, but in Cairo. Go into some type of modern sporting goods store. They sell soccer jerseys and shit. A young woman who works there is standing at the front of the lobby. She's obviously a greeter. Walk in and say salam, and she feigns a smile, and nods, and says something under her breath. She has the same painful half smile on her face as I walk past her. Her eyes don't follow me either. She is rail thin. She's not dressed like an Egyptian, but otherwise looks like a young Egyptian woman. She's wearing pants, and some type of soccer jersey, like what they sell at the store, and no hijab. Her hair is black and medium length. As I'm walking around the store, she doesn't fucking move. It's just me, her, and probably one other person that works there somewhere in the store. Her eyes are completely dead and traumatized. As I am in the store, I keep looking at her from behind. Something about that lady was so fucking off, it's hard for me to really put it into words. This is something that I have been interested in for some time. Unfortunately, I do not have enough time to write a proper response, but if this thread stays up long enough, I will add more when I return. So far I have seen people write stories about being somewhere far from home, in a strange place, etc. But as an old user, I can tell you the disappearance is happening right under your nose. Neighborhoods everywhere, at least in the USA, are empty. Everywhere you go, there are significantly less people than there were only 10 years ago, and to even a greater extent than 20 years ago. There are less children playing, few teenagers walking around, fewer adults chatting. This is not normal, and should not be simply explained away. Try it yourself. Go for a walk in your neighborhood. Notice what you say. Do a quick estimation of the approximate people in your vicinity, and then estimate the percentage of active people within view. Most people will dismiss this as suburbanization, obesity, propaganda, and the breakdown of communities. While this might be true, the shift from functional communities to empty housing allotments happens so fast and dramatically that it must be partially unnatural. Like I said, go out and try it for yourself. Driving through a few neighborhoods and see the lack of people. Walk around some public areas. Tell me if you think the desolation is natural. The government, or whoever, could be numerous groups involved, might be pushing suburbanization, obesity, etc. to further push people away from these places. Best case scenario, the government is behind this. Worst case, they're not. I checked back in on this thread to see if anyone would share their experience with this, but I don't see much besides people thinking this is interesting. I've noticed this too, and it is calculated. The difference between even 2010 and now is insane. We need more old users here that can share their own experience and how things have grown progressively emptier throughout the decades. This is not something limited to small towns. You can even see this in major cities. While there will always be more people walking around high population centers, the differences between, say, 2005 to now is stark. It's not just COVID either. This has been a progressive thing that gets worse every year. Playgrounds, shopping malls, etc. all have less people. Most people can't see this, even boomers that have been around for decades. If you can get them to acknowledge the change, most will dismiss it as a product of suburbanization. And there are many practical explanations for why you see less groups of people congregating in public areas. You can simply say that people are afraid. But what I ask again is that people start sharing their own experience with this. For people who can remember, think about how common it was to see men gathered around a half-fixed car in the driveway or kids playing in a park. When was the last time you saw a group larger than 5 kids riding bikes around a neighborhood? How would you react even if you did? Has the emptiness already been normalized in mind? Empty world phenomena. Has anyone else ever experienced an empty world phenomena, or EWP? I personally went through this a few months ago. Well, what seems like a year or more to me. And ever since I have been obsessively researching other people's accounts of this, the details vary wildly, from time spent in the EW to how it was entered and left. But for now I'll give a brief account of my own experience. Be me. Wake up as on any other day this July. Get up and go about everything as normal, taking a small breakfast and returning to my room like a neat. It takes me about 2 hours to realize my family is gone. Search the entire house and yards. Nowhere. The car is still in the driveway. Call up several other family members or anyone I think they might be with. Nothing. Starting to get pretty panicked now. Walk up and down the street. No neighbors answering their doors. Walk into town. Nobody anywhere. A few cars empty in the middle of the roads. Getting really truly panicked now. Continue searching until the sun is almost down. Walk to the beach and break down crying as night falls. Walk back to my house scared shitless in the dark. Continue to sleep there for a few nights, still waking up in an empty town. I kid you not when I say the breadth of this experience is so wide that I hardly know where to start. Over what felt like a year, I lived in this EW, searching houses, scavenging, traveling across most of the continent in various vehicles. I went to sleep one night in an old church and woke up back in my room as normal, still that day in July. This has practically driven me mad since, trying to decipher the entire topic. I have an immense amount of stories to tell, enough to fill 1,000 pages or more, which I will, if anyone is interested. Please feel free to ask me anything about my experience and share similar stories. What happened to you when you tried to record this EW with photos/videos? Early on I did try this a few times. Everything worked just as it normally would. I don't retain anything I had or used in the EW. When I woke back up in our world, it was just as when I had gone to sleep the night before. If I did though, it would mostly just be a few pictures of the wilderness and empty landscapes, and admittedly, several schizo rambles. At my most desperate point, I filmed a several-minute statement of what had happened up until then, like a sort of goodbye for an empty world, as if anyone else might ever find it. Also a few handheld videos I took when in more eerie places, or feeling especially scared, taking some comfort in it. All over the lower 48 states and bits of Canada and Mexico as far as I know. I traveled far, mostly now knowing where I was going or paying attention, mostly by car. Did the typical store demolishing thing a few times, but I got tired of that before I even left my town. Went out on boats a few times, never brave enough to try a plane. One of my most vivid memories is sailing out in the bay, still near my town. The sunset draped over everything, the sea sparkling, empty town and apocalyptic in the biblical sense, shade of orange. The mountains half in shadow. It felt like I was standing at the end of all time. Chosen I know not why, some grand in the year 2525 feelings. Yes, I saw a few monuments and more impressive things, but the little moments like that were the most memorably awe-inspiring for me, and lots of eerie and downright terrifying moments. Funnily enough, one of the things I did the most and found some comfort in was just going into random houses and seeing everyone's belongings. Every single house you pass has enough random knickknacks, strange things, and history of the people to live there to spend days exploring. Vegetation seemed normal, but no animals or insects that I recall. My sleep was relatively normal. I dreamed, not only of the random things I normally would, and past people and experiences, but dreams derived from my experience and my time in the EW. I stayed mostly in the remains of civilization, out of fear. I frequently took back roads, but rarely went further into the wilderness than I would be able to confidently find my way back from. What about connected technology, internet, GPS, cell and landline services? Did you spend any time looking for others? Was there any time you thought you'd found someone else? Most things seem sort of stagnant, for lack of a better word. Like the operation of everything, plant life, technology, was stopped in time. Seasons did not noticeably change. Internet worked, but no new content. Nothing I did anywhere would get any reaction. Everything I looked at had nothing new on it from after I went to sleep the night before. Obviously looked for others at first, holding out hope it might be a dream, or any other crazy explanation, like a mass evacuation or war or something. But there was nobody, not the slightest sign. Empty town. Was reading some empty town creepypasta, and then a chill ran down my spine. I'm probably just off my meds, but something does not sit right. Me, touring with band, Oregon. We played Christian music for churches, and toured around playing shows and sharing the gospel. Worship. We just finished a show, and we're driving to another town to stay for our next gig. We stop in a town to eat, probably around 7 p.m, getting dark. Chicken nugs at the Golden Arches. We have another 2-hour drive, so we get moving in a hurry. Everyone is tired, and we want to sleep. We start driving on one of those no gas stations for number miles roads. Oh shit, no gas. We'd been driving for 40 minutes before realizing we forgot to fill up. Band van, trailer, nearly a dozen people and instruments, and we were on fumes. Too far to go back, so we stop at what appears to be a boarded up gas station. Old pumps, a couple empty houses across the street, deserted town in the desert. My face when there is no gas. The sun is set, and we are trying to get cell service to call someone. 0 cars pass by. Empty road. No moon. Everyone is kind of freaking out. Might have to sleep here. Some of the more nervous members are actively praying aloud. Then, headlights. From where we had just driven, comes another vehicle who we flag down. Praise God. Guy gets out of his DOT truck, pulls out a red can of gas. You guys out? He tops us off enough to get us to the rest of the way to the next town. We thank him profusely. Then he just gets in his truck, turns around, and goes right back where he came from. This was almost a decade ago now, but I'm just now realizing something was off. Maybe it's just me, but how often do you see these dart trucks? It's probably just something these guys do if schmucks like us get trapped. But that answer still feels lacking. I don't know. Maybe I am just schizo. It seems like many areas in the US are experiencing population collapse. Perhaps the reason why many people can't see it is due to the steady stream of propaganda stating otherwise. Think of all the small towns all across the USA that have become hollow shells. They are literally everywhere. Where did all those people go? Even in areas that are not necessarily known for economic downturn, you will see entire neighborhoods that are essentially silent. You might see a few people mowing lawns or a couple kids outside, but tons of historical photographic evidence exists that proves people were more active in the past. I truly wish that more people could grasp just how dramatic the shift has been over the last 25 years. I am calling it right now. The next collective awakening people in the USA are going to experience will be the sudden realization that they are living in abject zombie communities. Keep in mind that there are still functional communities throughout the country, but many of these places are running on autopilot. Some are more protected than others, but the trajectory is still negative. I got a story. Got two in fact, but I'll share the other one if the nons are interested. It doesn't 100% fit the thread's theme, but close enough. This story happened about a month ago. Be me. Live near the Smoky Mountains. 22. Work a 4-day schedule. Get Friday to Sunday off. No friends to hang out with. Don't care enough to go to the gym. Drive a 99 Honda Civic. It's got a tape deck. Have a suitcase of cassettes that I bring with me. Develop tradition where I spend the whole weekend driving aimlessly while listening to my albums. Wake up at 6 a.m. Shower. Put $200 in cash in a wallet. That's my gas, food, and bullshit money. My Civic is a sipper, so I can do about 35 miles per hour to the gallon. Barely worry about gas. Spend most weekends finding obscure antique shops and thrift stores. One weekend I'm heading towards Bristol, TNVA. See sign for an antique mall and mentally note my exit. No GPS. I like the sense of wonder. Go to merge to get on the needed exit. Some fuckhead won't let me merge. Spend next hour heading into 7VA. Finally find an exit. Took long enough. Prepare to circle back and make it back to Bristol. Road takes me through a part of the Smokies. Don't mind the detour. The mountains are pretty, and I still have my tapes. Get utterly lost in the mountains. About to say fuck it and cheat with Google Maps to get back to the interstate. Need to pay. It's the mountains. I'll whiz in a bush. Find a spot with enough level land to pull over without damaging car. It's about 2 p.m. at the time, bright as it could be. As I begin to empty the hose, spot something odd. It's a hand-carved wooden post. Think Red Dead Redemption 2. Big log shoved into the ground, with 2 slightly jagged planks shoved into it. Letters burnt into the logs, then painted in to make letters pop. Pepperdine Street, Longmire Road. Huh? Car is off-road. No activity for the past few minutes. Notice the signs next to a dirt road. Decide to walk this dirt path to see what is there. Lock car and begin trek. Spend about 20 minutes walking when I see an old log cabin, like the ones you'd see in Cades Cove. Wood is weathered. The glass has calcium deposit fog. Cabin has to be from the early 1800s. Mother Nature is beginning to reclaim it for herself. Shrubs engulf the back half of the cabin. Walk closer to it to snap backs. Notice a figure in the window. Oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. Turn around and book it. Stop for a sec. Turn around to see if anybody/anything is chasing me. Figure is still standing still. What the fuck? Wave at cabin. No reply at all. Muster courage to inspect further. Get onto porch of cabin. Still no movement. Adrenaline kick. Press face up to glass. It's a wax statue of William Henry Harrison. It belongs in a museum. Cabin is fully furnished. Carpets, paintings, furniture. What the actual fuck? Assume I somehow stumbled into some kind of a historical campsite thing. Go to snap a pic for funny. Phone is dead. Car charger cable was not plugged in. Horror movie moment. About ready to leave when I spot something. There's another figure in a rocking chair. It's a bit dark in the cabin, and the sun in my eyes is making it harder to see. Press face into possibly lead-lined glass. It is what I assume is another wax statue. Squint eyes to focus in. It's a fucking clown. Think the kind you'd see on an early 1900s Barnum and Bailey poster. Sudden sense of dread washes over me. Feel like I'm being watched? Absolutely not. Turn and sprint like a fat kid rushing to an all-you-can-eat buffet. A 20-minute walk became a 10-minute run. Finally make it back to my car. Throw myself in and lock the doors. Breathing heavily, I regain some of my senses from my adrenaline rush. Begin looking around to see if anything is coming my way. Connect charger to phone. Connect cord to the jack. Get phone turned back on to use GPS. Notice the time. I had been there for over 2 hours. Felt like 30 minutes at best. GPS starts, and I have to turn opposite to where I came from. Pull out and begin driving. Notice something odd. Slow down. Check all mirrors. Where is the sign? Throw car in reverse. Go further back, past where my car was parked. Start driving slowly. The Pepperdine Longmire sign is gone. What the fuck? It vanished? Surely not, but that log was drilled deep in the earth. Only someone like Andre the Giant could have moved it. Say fuck it and just go. No more questions. I just want to go home. Throw on a tape to keep myself cool. Spend the next 40 minutes driving back to civilization with the Alan Parsons Project soundtracking my journey. Get home by early nightfall. Decide to take a break on road trips for the time being. I told a few friends on Discord about the situation, but they don't believe me. I can't really expect them to, but needless to say, I've been spooked out of wanting to explore. I have no rational explanation for any of the things that unfolded.